And we're live here. Thank you, everyone, for watching again. This is the second episode of Metal Lab. Today we are joined by our guest, Ryan Morgan.
What's up? How are you guys today?
I'm recovering from our local comic convention yesterday. It was pretty crowded. It gets pretty nuts, and it's a Saturday of a convention, of course. So.
Yeah. I hear you there.
Yeah. So this week, a little bit of a slow week on the conversation side because, the next part of the meta is being formed with Dragon Con. It's probably going to be the first tournament we see any kind of inclusion of Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm going to call it Galactic Guardians, I think, 3 more times this conversation, so bear with me when I do that. But with you on the show, I wanted to ask you a few questions because you're a big inspiration to mine and my wife's channel. We caught some of your early videos of filming all the games from World Championships and Gen Con and everything like that. And we got really excited about that. And then between watching you and watching Let's Plays out in the world, we've kind of just decided to start our own thing. But we kind of want to start off by, how about you give us a history of the Glass Cabinet, how it became both the YouTube channel and the shop that it's running.
All right. And you said we only had an hour to discuss this.
Yeah. How about the Coles Notes, or I guess your American Cliff Notes version of it?
All right. Well, I'll give you guys a brief history. I don't know how brief it'll be, but basically, I think 2009, I started the Glass Cabinet, and basically at that time, I was just following a bunch of YouTubers that collected action figures. Now, I've been playing Heroclix since 2005, and I've always had Heroclix, and I've always played it, but around 2009, 2000, I was like, you know what? I kind of want to start, tinkering with these Heroclix because I wasn't really that big into the action figures, but it just was kind of popular. But I always was like, you know what? Let me just dabble in the Heroclix because that's kind of my passion. And I did. I made a couple here and there. I made the first how to play Heroclix, and that one. A lot of people around 2000, if you've seen that video, that one's the one you guys probably started watching. And I was like, wow, that's pretty good. That's pretty cool. But a lot of my other videos were just really pretty basic, and all the people that liked action figures, they were like, yeah, what's this Heroclix? I mean, little miniature figures. I'm like, well, they're collectibles. But anyways, I had a problem with that channel, and it basically got banned. To say the least. So I stopped for like 9 months, and then I was like, I really enjoyed it. If I'm going to do it again, I'm just going to make Heroclix. So I made a couple of videos, and then I just decided to just continue on with it. And if you look on my channel, it's basically about 90% Heroclix videos now. Anyway, so that's pretty much where we got to here. And then last year, I got an opportunity to start an online store. So I was like, well, actually, it basically presented itself as, why don't you already have a store? And I'm like, because I don't have the money to start that up. So anyways, I had some help. So basically, I started up an online store, and it's been going about a year now. It's doing pretty good. Considering it's first year trying to figure out how to run a business, it's not necessarily easy. Just kind of like, okay, let's do it. Having a full-time job with a 5-month-old son and being married, I'm busy. I'm pretty busy. On top of YouTube videos and stuff. Yeah, so I try to do the best I can, but my ultimate goal is to make entertaining YouTube videos, either if it's unboxings, making video stuff. Like, I have tried to dabble in like the meta stuff, but it's just not my passion. I can dabble in it and do decent with it for a short period of time, but you know, like I know your channel, you dedicate an episode for that, and that's great. You know, that's just not where my full dedication is. But then we also have Starting Over podcast. He does a really good job as well. And but yeah, so I try to keep it more on the entry level and try to get people to the game. And that's pretty much what my goals are for that. And I don't know if there's anything else that you want to bring up, but that's for the most part why I make videos. When people say they watch my videos and I help them teach them the game, I'm humbled by it. I honestly am humbled by it. Just a normal guy that lives in Florida, makes some YouTube videos, and then, you know, it's become to what it is right now, which is kind of cool. I won't lie, it is kind of cool.
Actually, the first video of yours that I watched myself was the What Heroclix Players Say.
Okay, yeah.
That was during a lull period in my gameplay where I didn't really pay too much attention to the game, and then I saw that because a buddy sent it to me. Was like, hey, this is kind of a lot of things you say. And I laughed because, yeah, it's pretty much what we all say.
Yeah, that was a fun video. Around that time, I don't know, was it like 2 years ago or a year and a half, whatever it was, a time on the internet or on YouTube, that was the biggest thing. People were making videos on, you know, shit people say, whatever. And I was like, you know what, I have to do this for the community. I thought it was going to be fun. And so that's kind of what it was. And a lot of the things that were said were, you know, things that were being said at our local venue, which pretty much is said every other venue. So I've always wanted to do another one and maybe like an updated version, but I don't know if that time has passed because that was popular at that time. But I don't know. Maybe I'll do another parody video sometime in the future. But they're a lot of fun. I would love to do it again or do another parody video.
You know, I think you'd still get the same kind of laughs and everything like that. And even I think the fact that that idea is kind of past, I think it'd still be fun in the eyes of our viewers and your viewers. And sure, I know me and Amber try to get quite a few laughs when we're playing the game itself.
Yeah, I know.
And we don't normally talk to each other the way we talk to each other when we're playing games with each other. We're like two different people when we're playing. Like if there's any board game, we are nasty to each other.
I know that if you remember, you saw my interviews, I was kind of talking a little bit about friendly rivalry, and that's kind of when I'm with a bunch of friends. I'm not saying I'm mean or anything, but I definitely like to joke around, and my humor definitely can come across as a little bit, I don't know. So you know, I love to just, like, we tease all the time. Like my really good buddies that play Clicks, we'll just talk so much trash, and it don't mean anything, but you know, it's just fun. It's just really fun. And if some people aren't like that, and like you said, like I know because like your channel, you guys don't necessarily restrict yourself to the language. So
no.
I mean, like, you pretty much no holds bars. I'm not necessarily at that level, but you know, it's just fun. It's fun to just be able to let your guard down and joke around with people, you know. So
that is starting to get us in trouble on HC Realms, apparently. We post in the AV section whenever we put up a new video. Right. In HC Realms, and Amber has started using the embedding functions of YouTube to do that. So I think it was recently it was either an unboxing or a game, and one of the moderators jumped in and said, "Hey, if you're gonna post links to your video, you should probably watch your language in the video." And we just try and chat back like, "We've been posting all year. Why is this happening now?"
That's funny. That is funny. Yeah, because you can have a link, or you can actually embed the video so they can watch it on HC Realm. So yeah, I could see that being a, oh well, what are they gonna do?
A little bit of a difference.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now we're through the introductions. For those of the maybe 3 or 4 in our channel that don't know who you are, because I think a lot of our viewers kind of trickled down from our unboxing with you,
okay.
and then after that, me and you've been on the same interviews here and there, or the same Google Hangouts. So
right.
But everybody is at Dragon Con right now, the big meta players. So one of the topics I wanted to bridge is predictions for what's going to happen there. Now, I haven't heard any news, and HC Realms isn't as noisy about it as I thought it was.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
Yeah, so let's open up. Do you guys think anything's going to surprise anybody from Guardians of the Galaxy now that it's been out for a couple weeks and we've had a chance to play with some of it and see what things are shocking and what things are great?
I really want to see some Alpha Primitives, Maximus action. I want to see that teamwork. I want to see it brought out to Dragon Con. I just want to see it. I want to see somebody actually do well with it because it sounds really fun. It just sounds really risky or like the worst team in the world. I haven't quite decided. I want to see it.
I guess, the thing is, I haven't really looked at the set at a competitive level yet because I knew that I wasn't going to go to Dragon Con, so I figured I could give myself a little bit of a break. But there's some figures that definitely look interesting. I don't know, I haven't been following what the meta teams are out of, let's say it right, Guardians of the Galaxy. So I don't know. I know people liked Thane. I don't know if there's a team built for him right now. Major Victory. I know people are like, well, penetrating damage, but for what you get, it's a lot of good stuff. One of the minor things nowadays is because he doesn't have willpower, but we can give anyone willpower at the drop of a hat nowadays. So I don't know. Honestly, I don't know if we're going to see anything from Guardians of the Galaxy. I think we're going to probably see entities show up, and plentiful entities. I think we're going to see some more Bizarros, Iron Pharaohs. I think we're going to see a lot of the same. Now, maybe a supporting piece might be added from Guardians, but I'll be upfront and say I would love for someone to bring a Guardians team and just wreck. Now, the Guardians keyword is actually pretty good, but I don't know if it's right. I don't know if it's there at 300 points right now. I don't know. What do you think? Because I'm sure you've probably looked at it a little bit more than I have, and there might be some.
See, I sit kind of close where you think there that Guardians. I don't like too much of the set in the meta world. I think a few pieces can do what they're designed to do very well. But what I hope to see, and I think may happen, is that there will be an influx of Guardian pieces because everyone's kind of getting that. This is new. You don't know what it does. It's kind of like I'm going to throw a lot of people off.
I think that's a valid point because the year that Alex won, the set was pretty new, and people really weren't studying that set enough to know all the details. And he brings Wasp with Scarlet Witch and what's that chick's name? Morgan Le Fay. And it's a really solid team, but on the surface, it's pretty simple. And it just wrecked, with high defenses and penetrating damage and the ability for one character to carry the whole team, right? Because Scarlet Witch can be carried, and then Wasp is a tiny size figure, and then we got Barrier and all these little support and details. Scarlet Witch just totally changed the game when that figure came out. So, I don't know if we have that figure right now. What about War of Light, too? I think there's some figures in War of Light. Obviously, the entities, but...
Weaponer's done good.
Weaponer has done good.
Yeah, Weaponer's kicked me out of a tournament before. But he's also won me a couple, so I can't really complain. It's obviously, I know this guy is good. I should really be playing again, to be ready for him. I'm kind of shocked what I'm seeing nowadays, and I thought would never happen again, is the return of the pit crew mentality, we'll call it.
Okay.
Way back when I was playing, up till I think it was just before Avengers, there's pretty much a standard of play in the higher end metagame where your team consisted of your figures plus 50 points devoted to a certain number of figures. And this, back then it was paramedic of some value, either the limited edition Jane Foster, who had willpower and support, the rookie Black Panther from Infinity Challenge, which was 27 points with stealth, outwit, and the Avengers team ability, and the con artist, or 2, or 3, or 4, or 5, depending on how many points you wanted to put into Perplex. And I'm seeing that starting to happen again, with Weasel showing up on a lot of teams, Blind Owl showing up on a lot of teams, Bill, Agent of AIM, is showing up everywhere. Not so much, but I think the Blue Lantern Recruit is starting to show its face in some teams. Not high-level meta, but I've seen it in a couple teams. And I don't know, I mean, when you combine that with the idea of the resources, the entity, it seems like we're going into this portion where we're starting to tweak a character again. Like, we're just taking a character and adding things to it. I mean, I don't have a problem with it. It's just, it feels like tent poling again to me. And it seems like it's the standard. So that's the way I'm seeing now. As far as Guardians is concerned, with that whole idea, nothing stood out as incredibly low point and supporty to me. But there is a lot of... It seems the lower end of points is getting a lot stronger than it used to be when you look at characters like Gamora or Colleen Wing, who's out there in the world. Like, there's two 55-point characters who have damage potential, right?
Right.
So it seems a little strange the way the game is started to turn. So I don't know what you guys think of the idea of the pit crews and like the idea of devoting points on the board, not just like off the board, but on the board to keep your team alive.
Well, I started playing the game actually around that time, so I'm kind of used to it. The Fire Lords and con artists and all the crazy shenanigans this game started out with, I'm kind of used to it. I understand it with the whole Iron Pharaoh and Phantom X team. I just feel like maybe we should, like, the community's looking way too closely at specific figures that other people find success in, and then just get so stuck in the mindset that that figure has to be played, so everyone plays it, and then it becomes part of the meta because everyone thinks it's part of the meta. Like, I feel like everyone but Iron Pharaoh may be finding effective on it. Like, Patrick didn't use it, and I found that to be a very viable cause because he had a Pharaoh. There's no reason. It already ignores everything. You don't need Bill. But I've seen Bill on some Pharaoh teams where they're playing like Phantom Girl or something else, and it's like, that's wasted points. Like, boost your Pharaoh up. Boost your... like, I would just not play Bill. Put an entity also on Phantom Girl, you know, like, or put... just put another... something on your team that gives you more power to something important.
Now, recently, I've been trying to build new teams again ever since, like, I guess we're going to call it ever since Canadian Nationals when I last played an Uber meta game. I've had a problem ever since, and I've been caught up with specific figures. The one, in my case, it was two of the ones that were really good on my team would have been the Batman and the Storm. But every time I'm trying to build a team nowadays, for whatever reason, my brain just turns to those characters. Now, does anybody, am I alone in this, or do you guys find yourself, you know, you built a team that did really well, and then every time you try to build a team thereon, one of those figures keeps finding its way in? We'll call it your crutch figure, I guess. What would you consider your crutch figure, where every time you build a team, for whatever reason, that figure just finds its way in?
That's funny because, you know, I would say I don't play enough recently to have a crutch figure because I want to build something different. But when I was thinking about the meta going to Gen Con, I will say that the crutch figure was in place because I was thinking of Bullseye, I was thinking of Iron Pharaoh, and Phantom X. And there's a lot of similarities in there, and I was thinking, like, I have to play a Weasel if I play these two guys. I need to play Bill if I'm going to play this guy. And, like, it's more than one figure, but it was kind of like, if I'm going to play this, I need these support pieces. Or so, but I don't necessarily play enough competitively locally, and I would probably never play those figures locally just because, unless it was to the point where I needed to basically tell people how you run the game. But you know, but there's other ways to do that. And I built a team the other day on my website that people might have to see that coming. So I don't know. I don't have necessarily a crutch piece. Maybe maybe years back I probably would have to be like building a team. I need Perplex. I need Prob, and I don't necessarily knew how you were going to get it. And maybe Outwit because there wasn't so much Power Cosmic, but I don't know.
Ways to give the Power Cosmic.
Right, exactly.
I have a few characters that I would consider crutch characters almost. One of them being Hope Summers, because I usually build teams if I find I have 75 points left. She just gives me more of whatever I've already built.
Mm.
If you don't say Proxima, though, I'm gonna hurt you because I've been hearing about Proxima from you all month.
Well, see, I have this constant problem right now, and as you were kind of mentioning with building teams, my problem's not with the crutch figure. It's this: they've just thrown so much tech at us. I don't know what characters best use certain tech. I've built maybe 15 Proxima teams with resources and these guys, and I sit there and I'm like, well, this team can do this one, and this team can do that team, and this has double barrier, and that has no barrier, and 8 probs. I don't know what to do. Do I stop free actions, or do I stop line of fire?
I actually think that is the problem in the meta right now. There's so many options. It's picking the right option that you want to go with, and it's not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing, but
yeah,
it's just there's not going to be a particular player or team that you're going to be like, I win. It's just not out there anymore, which is good. I mean, there's some teams out there that I know that I wouldn't want to play just because my play style doesn't dictate that I'm going to win that match because you have that Bizarro. I'm not going to sit in the corner. I guess I could, but my gut is to just punch you in your face, and that doesn't work with those teams. So it's okay. That's just interesting how the game is. But at least it's not, what's that? It was back. I can't even remember. It's a feat card, but basically the walls could not be destroyed, so you just sit in there. The instructional integrity or whatever it was, but that would have been garbage. That's the most garbage thing I've ever seen in my life. But
clearly, you haven't played against a character with 4 protecteds on it.
No, not 4 protectives. No.
This is the face I make when I see something like that. Not happy.
I have to say, I do like how some feat cards are kind of just getting pushed into certain characters. That I'm a little bit more comfortable with.
Yeah.
I'm glad structural integrity field specifically isn't in the game. But you got characters like the Blue Beetle, who if you deal 3 damage or more to him, he says, okay, once that's not going to happen. And then every other one, it's like having 1 protected on him. I can deal with that. But
right.
sometimes you're a little hesitant to take that 1 miss 6 damage. I'm probably better off not having taken that damage. Or Alex's Stargirl he actually said it himself. He put Stunning Blow on that character.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I saw the feat card. Is you always saw the art on that card. It's like, hey, well, that's the character that's supposed to have it.
True.
Why don't you just let that character do it? And then Avengers came out and I was like, oh, so you are getting rid of them. So that brings us down to actual Dragon Con predictions. And I'm not going with teams, I'm going with people. Do you think Patrick's going to pull off the threefer, 2 Worlds and Dragon Con, or do you think that we're going to see a different name for Dragon Con show up as a winner? I know quite a few good players are going there. I know Jake said he was going down there. Patricia's at PAX, so she's not playing this weekend.
That's right.
There. And, of course, Patrick is allowed to pretty much play on a throne of golden scrolls with the amount of ROC points he's got this year. So, well, I don't know. Predictions, do you think we're going to see a different one? Do you think Patrick's just going to own the house, or what's up?
I heard his team, and some of the other teams that were going. DragonCon seemed kind of like a big toss-up to me. We may see another champion win, and we may just see Patrick's experience from this year, the fact that he's been winning and playing some of the most top-tier tournaments, I'd say. He might just pull out again. But we could see another old world champion probably also take it. It's a pretty rocky time right now, I think.
What is the final format? Is it the same format as every other one, the 300 modern, or is there any restrictions on this the championship round?
I'm not 100% sure, but I believe the final this year was their personal no resources, no entities format. Now, I want to point out as well is that Patrick was familiar with that, definitely going in from the early part where there was no entities, and the first set of ROC tournaments every year, it runs a no tactics format.
Right.
So.
Oh no, yeah, no. I'm just curious, just because I'm just thinking of like what's in the meta now, and then if you take things out of the meta, then you get left with something else. I'm gonna go on a limb here, and I have a weird feeling that Jake might actually win it. Now, I say this just because he's done very well this year as well. He at teams, I don't know what he's playing for this match, but actually I know he played the Justice League at some point in the tournament. Now I don't know if he's going to play that for the finals, but barring a couple mistakes, I don't know. I think he's a good player. He's determined to win. But Patrick's a good player as well. I think there's a toss-up. I don't know what other top players are going to be there, but I think those have to be the top two guys that if you're going to pick, unless there's another guy that I'm not thinking of. But Jake did win the first heat. At least that's what I saw. So I don't know. He did post something about like his buddies, the guys from Rubicon, got mugged. And
yeah, I saw that post.
Shot or something. So
apparently there was a third party that was there, like not actually anybody he knew, but was being stubborn about his burger or something, and got shot in the foot. And I was like, where is this place? But he also mentioned he was in a bit of a seedy part of town where his hotel was. So yeah. I mean, I don't know what kind of factor that plays into it as well.
Right. So I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna say I think Jake will probably win it, and if he doesn't win it, it'll be someone that we didn't know. Like it maybe not a big name. I think for the sake of the community of Heroclix players, we like Patrick, but spread the wealth around a little bit.
Yeah. That was one of the things I pointed out when you first started, wrecking house in all the ROC tournaments. I was like, where are all these points going that he's taking? Is there anybody else going to be able to even qualify for this tournament? So, I mean, because I haven't gone to any ROCs, I'm not familiar with how you get more and more points. If it's like the Versus system back in the day where you collect points and get on the pro circuit if you've got enough points. So, like, over 2 years, you could eventually just lose, get top 10 in tournaments and get a point, and eventually if you go to, like, 10 pro qualifiers, you end up qualifying for pros. I don't know if it works like that or if there's another sneaky thing to it. But he took a lot of points out of all of that, and I don't know how many people that leaves spots for. I mean, how many of these tournaments are being run?
Well, my understanding is these points can be given away. So
or traded.
Yeah, but basically given away. You could trade them, you could sell them, however you want to do it. So, like, I'm assuming if he's coming with friends, it's possible that they've come out with some kind of deal where his buddies might be able to get in, buy off his point. Now, I'm sure he's not giving them away for free. But
he is operating his own business. Maybe he's got them under the counter, too. It's just like, right next to the Heroclix is ROC points.
I think people that maybe have enough points but still want to play might even be playing in Heat 1 and 2 just to get some more points and possibly sell them or trade them. So it's almost like a currency right now. I don't know. I think he definitely has a lot of points. I'm sure he's not sitting on a pile of them and saying, I'm just going to keep them, because I don't know if they roll over. I think someone said they don't roll over. So
yeah, apparently it was specific to this year's points not rolling over or something because of the upcoming change to their format, where they're just running 2 formats instead of 3 different formats.
Mm-hmm.
Because originally, like last year, there was Golden Age, no tactics. Then it was their Modern Age, no tactics, or what they called Silver Age, and then it was the Modern Age Standard tournament. So,
okay.
That's what I got gleaned out of it. But at the same time, I haven't hit the ROCs. I mean, my first, honestly, in 15 or 12, 11, or whatever, how many years this game is, I mean, I've been to 1 major tournament, and that was Canadian Nationals this year. So I don't know what all the other ones are running. And this year, me and Amber are definitely planning on changing that, as we are getting our passports as part of our Heroclix New Year resolution. We get, once Worlds hits, it's the new Heroclix year, right? So it's time to make my clicks resolutions.
I like that.
Yeah. So I actually, with the last little bit of time that we have left, we have about 13 minutes. But what is your clicks year resolution for the upcoming year?
I'm going to continue, hold it in tradition to go to Worlds again. It's funny because now it's going to be at Origins, so I don't know how that's going to spin off, but I have a good feeling that I'll be able to make Origins again. So that I think that's a big enough goal to be able to say we're going to go to one of these things. I'm happy too, because last year, or this year, I guess, it has been at Gen Con, which is Indianapolis, and it falls at not necessarily the greatest time for my family, since my wife's a teacher and she goes back to work like the day after Gen Con, so it was kind of stressful for her. So she's like, hey, man, if this was on any other weekend, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. I was like, well, there is another tournament, Origin, which is in June, and sure enough, just a couple weeks after, Worlds is going to be at Origins. I was like, how perfect. So that's my goal. I don't know if I answered your question, but that's my resolution, to go to Origins.
You're going to go to Origins, which is where you're going to be at Worlds. So you're going to Worlds still, but you're changing locale. That's fine.
Right.
Nothing wrong with that. Jordan, what's your clicks year resolution?
To hopefully not kill my wallet in collecting all the entities. Then would be to get to these bigger tournaments, put my name out there.
Yeah.
Maybe another one would be to go to more than just one, but they have to have something closer to me in Florida. The closest thing would be Dragon Con, which is just this year. It happened to be so close to Gen Con that it was just not feasible for me. But I'd like to go to more than just one of these big tournaments, but there's not much over here. I guess I'm going to have to start my own tournament, I guess.
the glass cabinets, was it the glass cabinet invitational or open?
Yeah, we'll do it big.
I do have to ask, because you mentioned it in passing, this championship series of tournaments this championship idea with the Tournament of Champions. Mm-hmm. Are you going through with that, or?
Okay, well, so what this is about, the Tournament of Champions was Adam Freeman's idea, and we haven't even talked about it. I just saw his post, and I thought, wow, that's pretty cool, because the funny thing, I guess I'll spill the beans here if you didn't read my idea is to host live matches online, because a lot of players can't get to these big tournaments, and the goal, I mean, it's really lofty, and it's going to be a lot interesting feat to pull off, but the goal is to start off with basically hosting matches like I would run the match and I would live stream it, and then like say you two players come to it and you play the board as it is. Now, so that can be played anywhere. I mean, you guys can be sleeping in your PJs and hobble over to the webcam and call out your moves, and there you go, you have a game. Now, obviously, we get a little bit more structured than that, but the goal would be to kind of perfect that and then possibly expand that so I can stream multiple games, because one game at a time is kind of not quite going to cut it. So this Tournament of Champions would be an awesome thing, like where we can maybe set a weekend up aside where we have multiple streams going on, at least the format that I'm talking about, and then people would play maybe like for 4 hours, and you'd play maybe over a Saturday or a Sunday, 4 rounds each. Everyone would be able to play each other, and then the best record would win. So I think it's feasible. I mean, because technically it would really, you'd only need two days on a weekend to pull it off. But I don't know. It's a cool idea. I don't know necessarily it's in place to start like soon, but I'm gonna work on it. I think I'll be able to get to it though. I think we'll be able to pull it off. I just can't tell you exactly when.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this weekend. Bit of a short weekend because we don't have as much to talk about with things going on and everybody being busy right now. So before we go, I want to give Ryan a chance to talk about Glass Cabinet, give himself a little bit of a plug. Let him know if you have anything new up there and what's interesting on your storefront.
Okay, so
got any entities?
I guess some entities. Not on the store yet. I'm sitting on 2 white entities, if those interest anyone.
The Stalker.
Oh, which ones?
Oh, I just said the Stalker, and then did the
Yeah.
weird position he was in.
There's some cool things with that entity. But anyways, what is coming up? I'm actually doing a grab bag. I don't know if anyone is into that. I'm actually doing that probably in a couple hours. They've sold out within like 3 or 4 hours the last time I've done them. So I'm a little bit leery. Like people will get upset when I'm like I'm sold out. So I'm trying to set it up so people can get into it. But it's basically going to be completely Guardians of the Galaxy grab bag where you can get pretty much every figure from, obviously within your packing, but everything will be in there. Not all of the chases, but all of the primes. There'll be 2 zombies in there. But anyway, so that's pretty much that. Look, I don't know, probably like 5 or 6 o'clock. Look for a post on Facebook so you guys can mad dash over there. But I don't know. I don't know if anything else that I've got going on crazy. No, I don't know. I know there's some talk to do another interview, and obviously if I do another interview within the next couple of days, you're more than welcome to join us as well. So you're always a welcome guest on the show. So I don't know, just kind of wing it.
Feel free to control my mic volume when I'm on your show. My mic is a little loud, so just jump in those control settings and turn it down, please. Every time I watch the archive version of the videos I'm in with you, my mic just sounds so loud. It's like, oh no, please turn it down on me. It's all right. I actually probably got to mess with something in my settings. But I want to thank you very much. It's all right. I want to thank you very much, Ryan, for joining us on the stream.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and hope to see you again, either on our show or on your show, very soon. I want to thank, as always, Jordan for joining me on the weekend. And everybody who's watching the live show, Ryan's starting his grab bag around 5 or 6 o'clock today. For those of you watching an archive, the date is August 31st. So if you're watching this on September 1st, they're already gone. Or give them a shot. We're going to put a link down to his shop down below. And thank you very much for watching, and have a good one, guys.
See ya.
Thank you.